poppin' YouTube? Extra Thick Games here with you tonight, bringing you a deck profile that I've just been absolutely excited to be able to make and then show to you ever since I started, opening the Soul Fusion Special Edition boxes. Right? I finally completed my Thunder Dragon deck. And the way I built it, I'm just really excited to showcase it for you guys. All right, it's the holiday season, and one of the few, gift videos I'll be giving y'all is the best deck profile yet. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into it with the main deck. We of course have to start out with the 3 OG Thunder Dragons. You discard one of them, you get up to 2 of them, so depending on the situation, you can discard one and either get one and then discard that one and then get the other to put the 2 Light Monster and Thunder Dragon names in the graveyard, or if you just need that kind of +1 in your hand, you could discard one and get both of them. Say if you needed to use Thunder Dragon Hawk's effect to shuffle them back and then get more resources, that's certainly something you could do using this card as well. But the original Thunder Dragon, you gotta have the 3 of them. Next up, we're of course going to be playing our triple Thunder Dragon Roar, as well as our triple Thunder Dragon Dark. The Thunder Dragon Dark, it searches itself, which can be useful, especially with a couple of the other plays I'm going to get into later in the deck profile, getting different types in the graveyard. And then, if you ask me, you got the Thunder Dragon Roar, probably the best one. Probably the best one in the deck, because if you use its discard effect, you're just going to be able to bring back, to recycle resources, Thunder Dragon monsters that are banished or in the graveyard, and Lord knows you're going to be doing both of those things. And then, its other effect is, if it itself is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you're going to be able to special summon one from the deck. And I mean, you special summon something from the deck, that's absolutely nuts. Chances are, if it's going from the field to the graveyard, you're doing it for one of your fusions or a link summon or something like that, so you're already getting something better, and then you're getting just another resource because of it. And then Thunder Dragon Dark, in addition to, searching itself and putting another dark monster in the graveyard, you're, it's almost the Thunder Dragon kind of Rhoda. Sent from the field to the graveyard, you get any Thunder Dragon monster to your hand. That can be useful when you need extra resources. Then, the last 2 Thunder Dragon names, we're going to have the Hawk as well. Well, I guess not the last 2. The last 2 3-ofs. The Matrix, the one kind of Thunder Dragon normal summon, the Thunder Dragon Matrix. Use it as a field starter, kind of get going with your some summer summoner kind of plays, and then if it's when you link it away, you just get another one back. Or if something is just that close in power to the rest of your monsters, you discard it and then give your monsters the edge. Like if your Colossus is fighting something with 3,000 attack points, you can give it the edge that way. And then Thunder Dragon Hawk, it's going to help you mulligan your hand and everything. Or you can just discard it and special summon that's something that was banished during the graveyard. Gotta have this one. This one, I know I've seen some people play 2 of these, but this is just, this one's so versatile as far as, like, if something bricks, it unbricks you, and then you're just getting resources back onto the field. There's not really a bad Thunder Dragon card. Argues could be made that this would be the one bad Thunder Dragon card, the one Thunder Dragon duo, but in this build, I guess I'll just go ahead and say it, we are playing the Chaos version, right? We are playing the Chaos version, and this almost basically acts as another sort of BLS or Chaos Emperor Dragon kind of summoning method, where you banish a light and a dark, and then, when you're doing that, you're getting their banish effects too. Then, like, what is it doing? It's when it destroys something, you banish one in your graveyard, which is giving you another effect, and then you search one from your hand, search one from deck to hand, and then it's also helping you kind of get your banished resources back into the deck, because at the end of the turn, you're putting one of your banished cards at the bottom of your deck. Great card. Wouldn't necessarily run it as more than one, but it's also a level 8, which is going to help us with some of our Xyz plays, right? And then on with the Chaos Engine, we are going to be playing the 1 Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, another secret rare monster that came out to us in Soul Fusion. Now this one, it's a little versatile in the sense that it'll get a different effect based on what kind of monsters that you're banishing. If it's light, if it's dark, or if it's both, which is why cards like the Thunder Dragon Dark really do come in handy, because the light and dark one it's pretty useful if you're going second, right? You're popping 2 things on the field, but other than that, if you use only dark, you're shuffling 1 from their hand into deck, which, taking resources is always nice, but I'd say the light one is probably the best of the effects. So you're banishing the 3 light monsters, you're getting a special something else from the graveyard, right? From the graveyard. So you're getting resources back. And then lastly, to round out the Chaos Engine, we are running the double BLS. It's BLS, the best Chaos monster there is to date, and enough said on that. All of our Chaos monsters are 8 stars and have good stats. They'll help us with our Xyz plays, and honestly, I just think that it synergizes so well with Thunder Dragons being light and dark monsters, so I don't see why people play different variants beside this. Okay, so that rounded up our Thunder Dragon monsters, but then for our other Thunder cards, we're going to play the Triple Solar, of course. Another normal summon if you don't have your Matrix. And this one will, it'll let you foolish something into the graveyard upon normal or special summon. And then if something else is summoned when it's already on the field, you're getting your token, which is going to help you with your link plays. So you got to have the Batteryman Solar. It does synergize really well. Now, as far as hand traps are concerned, we are running a bunch of them. We've got the 2 Ash Blossoms, still the probably most versatile, best hand trap. Counters something in just about everyone's deck. Double Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Graveyard plays are getting more and more popular, so this one is getting just that much better with each format, if you ask me. And then for the 3 of, we are actually gonna play triple Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. Now, why are we doing this one? Well, I wanted to make this deck as FTK proof as possible, and even without Firewall, there's still a good bunch of FTKs that are kind of running rampant. We got Zombie FTK with Soul Absorbing Bone Tower, we got Gel and Duo FTK, the new Pendulum FTK, right? There's still ways to FTK your opponent without Firewall Dragon, and I want to make sure that if some nonsense like that starts, I'm able to just stop it like that. So we got 3 Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. This will also explain a whole lot more in the extra deck when I get into that. But that does wrap it up for the monster lineup. So as for spells, we do have 2 Thunder Dragon Fusion, not 3. I don't ever really find it necessary because both of your Thunder Dragon Fusion monsters have other ways to cheese themselves out onto the board. This one just it helps you recycle resources because you're shuffling the materials back into the deck and everything. And then, it has a graveyard effect for the following turn or any other turn subsequent to that. You're adding one from... You're searching a Thunder Dragon monster, right? Or a Thunder monster. Makes Thunder cards searchable. It gives you some extra advantages, but you don't really need to see it at 3 because you can just summon the Thunder Dragon Fusions by their own effects. As for our other fusion card, we are running the double Instant Fusion. You gotta have this card to, get into your, the really old one, the Kaminari Attack, level 5 Thunder Fusion monster, helps you with that one. And then there's one more target in the extra deck for that, but Instant Fusion's still great in this deck. Speaking of things that are great in this deck, we are running triple Gold Sarcophagus because this is just nuts. It's a free Thunder Dragon Banish monster effect, and then you get that resource back in a few turns if the duel even lasts that long, if you don't win that turn just using that. And then triple Allure of Darkness. Oh man, I've been waiting for a deck to use this card in that I didn't think would be too much of a backdraw, right? Because you have to banish the dark monster, which I always thought was a little too heavy of a cost, right? Because your dark monsters in whatever deck you had run this in, they're your combo pieces, they're your extenders, they're your starters. You don't want to get rid of those, right? But in this deck you do. You draw 2 cards and then you get a banish effect. Like, it's just great. You gotta max out on your Allure of Darkness. And then the last card in our 40-card Thunder Dragon deck is, of course, going to be the 1 copy of Soul Charge. Who cares if you're losing your battle phase? You're setting yourself up for just some insane Link and Fusion boards with this card. If you play this, if you resolve this, you're just going to win the duel, as in most decks. If you resolve Soul Charge and under the right circumstances, you're just going to win. Now let's just go ahead and get on to our extra deck, shall we? Alright, and now for that extra deck. We are, of course, going to end up running the 3 Thunder Dragon Colossus. These 2 are, the unlimited versions that I had bought online when I'd never thought that I was going to pull a Thunder Dragon Colossus from a box opening or anything like that until I pulled this one first dead from just some stray pack that, of course, I didn't open on the channel because... what is luck, am I right? I mean, it's a walking mistake with a good body, and then, what is it, protection for itself, right? I never really even get to that point. You get enough of these guys on the board, they're probably just going to scoop, but if they're going to try and destroy this card by battle or card effect, you're banishing something from the graveyard, getting their plus effect, and then it's still probably just GG from there. They try to do anything, they're just done. Then we got the 2 big boys. You don't really need to run 3, but you got Thunder Dragon Titan with his just obnoxious 3200 body. This one also has its own cheese onto the field effect by tributing a Thunder Fusion monster. So that's where your Kaminari attack is going to come in handy, right? And then, like, when you're using a Thunder Monsters effect in the hand, so any of your Thunder Dragons are activating their initial effect, you just pop something, right? And then it's pretty much got a similar protection effect as Colossus, except if it's going to be destroyed, you're banishing 2, so you're getting 2 effects off of it. So you get these guys on the board. Good luck to your opponent. Just good luck. Kaijus, Borreload, that's a different story. But we do have an extra deck for a reason. Well, that won't really protect you against Kaijus. Not a whole lot does, but that's why you just drop a bunch of these things on the board, right? It's never just gonna be like 1 Colossus or 1 Titan. You're gonna have at least a Colossus and a Titan, and then maybe 2 Colossuses. I'll show you what we're hoping to get on board. Now for our instant fusion targets, we are running the 1 Kaminari attack for obvious reasons, and then the 1000 Eyes restrict, right? This guy would be a good way to, kind of get around the, if you're playing a mirror match, it's a good way to get around your opponent's Titan or Colossus, because you're just snatching it, right? You're just taking it from them. And then they're not getting that effect, it's off the board. And then, it's just, it's a interesting spot removal that not a whole lot protects against, so you go into your 1000 Eyes for a problematic monster, just snatch it up, get it off the board. Sure, I mean, other monsters can't attack, but if something's that problematic, it's worth it to just get the thing off the board. Okay, so that does it for the fusions. For the links, we're going to run the 1 Summer Summoner. Great card. It does suck a little bit that its effect only really works on your opponent's turn, right? Because it's once per opponent's turn. It is a quick effect, though. You discard a card, and then you're summoning a Thunder monster from your graveyard. That's not a link card. So if something of yours happens to get popped that you didn't want it, if they Kaiju over your Colossus or Titan, wait, does that even work? Maybe that'll work. Nope, that actually won't work. Never mind, can't do that. But your resources to go into these guys, that'll work. It's still worth running. And then, of course, you're getting the 2 extra monster zones opened up so you can get a Colossus and a Titan, and then pull some shenanigans, turn this into a second Colossus, and then you're just golden from there, right? We do run the 1 Boral Sword. Not going to go into it too terribly often, unless, like, your extra monster zones just end up getting packed too quickly and you have all these resources left and not really a way to get into your Colossus or your Titan, just link them all together, get that Boral Sword out on the field. You get that. If your opponent has anything on the field, it's probably GG from there. You're going to get a stupid amount of attack points and swing twice, right? Boral Sword's great. And then, like, if you're playing Burning Abyss, aka Boral Sword Turbo, and you know that that's coming, you can Ghost Reaper it and make sure that they don't really have that big of a win condition. Speaking of win conditions and whatnot, Saryuja Skull Dread. This is going to be one of our Ghost Reaper targets for the Slash Draw FTK. That's how they get their other copies of Slash Draw at the bottom of their deck, so they know when they're going to get it. But if we remove that from the picture, then they're just not going to be able to do that, and their deck loses its win condition altogether. Summon Sorceress, namely for the Jalen Duo FTK, but also it's just a good card in general, and you want to stop your opponent from being able to play some shenanigans with that. The last Link monster is going to be Gumblar. If you know they're going into that with some Dark Warrior variants, like if they rob you of your hand, that might as well be an FTK in and of itself. So if you're going into that, just hit it with Ghost Reaper and just remove that situation. Just take that off the table. And then for the last two kind of FTK protections, we're going to run the one Mayakashi that's the 5-star one, the Poisonous Mayakashi. You could run just about any of them if you ask me, but you don't want to run the one that's smaller than him because I feel like there's just more ways to get into that. Synchro over the level 3 and just get into this one. But you see they're going into it, just hit this, and they're already kind of using resources. It worked on Dueling Book. They tried to go into the level 5 one after going into the 3. I Reapered it, and then they just didn't have an extension from there. I'm not saying that's always going to be the scenario. It's zombies. They're going to be able to spam the board with some nonsense. So this one is still probably the most vulnerable of... if you're going up against an FTK and you go up against a Mayakashi deck out FTK, this might stop it. It might stop it to just hit one of the smaller ones. No guarantees. They might be able to go from the 3-1 into the 7-1, depending on just the amount of resources that they have. Still worth a shot. And then we are going to run the one, number 86, Rangaminiad. Same with Gumblar. If they get that on the field with its 5 materials, that's basically an FTK anyway. So if you, as soon as you see Bamboozling Gossip Shadow hit the field, you Reaper this one, and then just leave the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow to be just demolished by your Thunder Dragons. And then the last Xyz monster we're going to run, not a Ghost Reaper target, but you're going to run your one number 38 Hope Harbinger Dragon. All the Chaos monsters are level 8, as well as Colossus being a level 8. So if you got like 2 or 3 Colossus monsters and a couple of Chaos ones, just leave one Colossus on the board so there's still no searching to be had. But then get your Chaos monsters effect off, and then just overlay 2 of them and get this. So you get a free spell negate, right? And then it forces all attacks into it, in case someone tries to run over your Colossus, since it'll have not that many attack points considering. But that's going to do it for our extra deck. Hopefully it's somewhat FTK proof with all of that. You really yourself are only going to go into the Colossus, the Titan, the Kaminari attack, the Summer Summoner, and the Hope Harbinger, which is why there's just so much free extra deck space that I didn't mind throwing all these Ghost Reaper targets into. But with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and get into that side deck, huh? Alright, and now for the side deck. Since this one is attempting to be an anti-FTK deck, if you are playing an opponent and realize that they're not playing something like that, you're going to just side out your Ghost Reapers and just play regular old Thunder Dragons, right? Basically, depending on what you're playing against is going to be dependent on which ones you side in and side out, as is any deck. But a lot of decks, I find, people have their side deck and then really just never go into it. But this deck, you're going to really want to side every single time, because even if you are playing against an FTK deck, we still have some extra deck monsters here in the side deck. So, you know, keep the 1 or 2 or however many Ghost Reaper targets that you need, and then just fill up your extra deck with other monsters, right? But to get started on that, we do run the 3 Denko Rekka. It is a thunder monster, which makes it, I mean, just synergizes absolutely greatly. And then we don't set anything in this deck, so that helps us because we're not affected by this. This will hurt your Altergeist matchups or some of your Rogue matchups, right? And then, like, you'll be able to cheese this one. Well, I guess no, you won't. You can't use it by Summoner because you can't special summon it, but that doesn't even matter. You'll just be able to shut down them setting their Altergeist traps or anything like that. You're shutting down setting things altogether, and she's a thunder monster, so Denko Rekka is great. Then as for extra deck monsters, the 2nd and 3rd Summer Summoner. If you're not playing an FTK, just add 2 more of these guys, right? If something happens to your first one, or on your second turn, right? Say you go first and you get this one out and you get your board set up, and they have an answer for your board. Well, you're kind of screwed about setting up that board again because you've only got the 1 extra deck monster zone open, and we don't really have any more link monsters that'll be able to open up space for you. So just slide these guys back in, right? You'll be able to open up those spaces again in the mid to late game. And then the 1 Nightmare Mermaid. Ibly is a thing, and I know I mentioned that in one of my last deck profiles, how you should be playing this in just about every single extra deck. I didn't feel bad not main decking this one, because the Thunder Dragons are all, you know, like level 5 and whatnot, or mostly level 5, so even if they do hit you with an Ibly, you know, you could just tribute summon one, right? That might not be the most optimal play in the world because you know you're taking away your normal summon if you got your Battery Man Solar and everything, but you know it's better than nothing. And then you'll be able to link summon again, so you tribute summon, special something out over it, and then go into your summoner, and then just go from there, right? But if you're just having that much of a hard time extending your plays after you tribute summon over the Ibly that they give you, Game 2, just give yourself a Mermaid, right? Just alleviate that situation altogether. Thanks for the free link material, idiot. You know, that sort of thing. Then as far as spell cards are concerned, we're playing the 1 Super Polymerization, and then the Thunder Dragon Fusion, the 3rd Thunder Dragon Fusion, right? So once you take your Ghost Reapers out and just start playing regular Thunder Dragons, that one's great in the mirror match, just taking their Thunder monsters and fusing it into one of yours. You're discarding something, so you might be able to just summon it back to the field, recycle it, banish it, get its effect, and then you can't respond to it. So that's really good in the mirror match. And then this card, I know I said you didn't really need to main deck 3 of it, but you know, maybe Titan's just pretty difficult to get out, right? So yeah, if you're not getting to see your Titan when you need it, if you just really need that big, beefy body, you can side this 3rd one in, right? Then, the last spell cards are going to be the triple Called by the Grave, because it's at 3 again. And, of course, we're going to be playing the shiny, super rare versions. Opened a bunch of Extreme Force special editions just to find these guys, because they were surprisingly expensive, like $8 a piece. And I was like, if I just get the special editions, this card's basically paying for the whole thing, right? But if hand traps are just hurting you too much, just put in the Called by the Graves instead of the Ghost Reapers, because that's just a perfect 3 for 3, right? And then if you get Drolled too much, that's going to hurt this deck significantly. So if you're playing against a deck that main decks Droll, definitely put these guys in Game 2. And then we play some traps. We're going to play the double Impermanence and the double Evenly Matched. Breaking big boards, and if something just needs its effect negated and you don't want it to get hit by Called by the Grave, right? I mean, these cards are self-explanatory. They could be main decked or side decked in just about any deck in this day and age, but I really wanted to make this deck consistent, right? And 40 cards while still being able to juggle the whole chaos aspect as well as trying its best to stop FTKs, so the room wasn't there, right? So throwing them in the side, and then like once you know what you're up against, if it's too much for the original build, you'll know when to throw these bad boys in there to fit your specific situation, right? But that just about wraps it up for this deck profile. I should have another Smash Bros video out for you guys pretty soon, actually. So keep your eyes open for that one. And I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Holiday Season, whatever it is you celebrate. So just enjoy the time, right? Family if you got it, friends if you got them, solitude if you need it, right? Just about every job or school should be off on at least one of these next coming days. Christmas Day, maybe you'll get Christmas Eve off too, but really just enjoy this time, my guys. Really enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your time as much as I enjoy my time making this content for you. Speaking of enjoying content, if you like this deck build, consider giving me a like, or telling me what you like about it, or telling me what you don't like about it, what your build is instead, and subscribe to the channel, right? Just it lets me know that I'm doing something that you guys actually like. So I'd love for you guys to subscribe, and of course I would also love for you guys to stay thick for me. Can you do that? Just stay thick, okay? Just stay thick! Extra thick!